Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect across the four corners of the earth. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, and verse 5. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation. And this is talking about the nation of Israel, right? They have corrupted themselves. Why? Because they have went after the ways of the heathen. They are not walking in the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, their spot is not the spot of his children. That's right. Because the Lord is like, where this behavior come out from? I didn't teach you this. I didn't raise you up like this. Right? So where is this behavior coming from? You understand? I give you unto you my laws, statutes, and commandments, and you doing the opposite of what I say to do. You understand? So the Lord is like, that spot they that I ain't teach my children this. Where this behavior come out from? So that is why it says their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation, and this generation that we're in right now is the most perverse and crooked generation ever. Right? Wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, as the scriptures say, and Israel is more wicked than ever before. That's why the Lord is coming with fire, and that judgment is going to first begin at the house of Israel. Right? The Lord have something appointed called Jacob's trouble. Right? The Lord has a time appointed for that time. And it's coming day by day, and it's going to be so great. Alright? So now is the time to seek the Lord. Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right? But Israel, they corrupt themselves. They walk in the ways of the heathen. You understand? Like it says here, their spot is not the spot of his children. And like it also says in the book of Jeremiah, like how are you turned to me at the degenerate plant? Because it's like, I gave you my law, statutes, and commandments to walk and to be a certain way to represent me on the earth. Right? Let me go to Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21. Yet I have planted thee a noble vine, wholly a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? That's right. Where that spot come out from, that is not the spot that I placed upon you. I gave you my laws, statutes, and commandments to walk in my ways. Right? I didn't deal with any nation like unto you. Nor did I show my ways unto the rest of the nations. I planted thee a noble vine. Right? So the scripture is saying here, why then are you turned unto me as a degenerate plant? Like the precept I bring out previously. Right? It says like the precept I bring up previously in Deuteronomy 32 and 5. Right? Their spot is not the spot of his children, because he didn't raise them up like that. Right? So from there, let me go in the book of Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 4. I'll start at verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider. That's right. They don't know the heritage. They don't know the name of the Lord. They don't know his ways. They don't know what he likes, what he dislikes, what pleases him, what displeases him. You know, they don't consider. They don't know the owner, right? They do not know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's why one of the scriptures it says that don't rejoice. Let not a rich man rejoice in his riches, or a wise man rejoice in his wisdom, but rejoice that ye know me. Because knowing the Lord is an important thing. Once you know the Lord, you know the things, what he like, what he don't like. You know, you know how to take heed unto yourself and know when you're offending so that you can offend less. But our people, they have sealed their conscience, but they have seared their conscience with a hot iron, as the scriptures say. So it's like they don't have no account for the actions whatsoever. It's like they have no morals. It's like they don't care. They're like a wild beast. Right? Let me go in the book of from there let me go to chapter, let's see. Let me go in chapter 30 and verse 21. And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. Right? So the ones who come into this truth, you know, you're gonna feel you are gonna feel and know that, hey, this is the truth. Right? You're gonna feel like something has been, complete within you, like your search. Because like the scripture said, Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election had obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So it's like a search that, something missing is like, and it was the truth. Because all Israel is seeking for the truth, but the elect is going to obtain the truth and overcome and endure unto the end. Right? But as of 2/3 and the rebels, they are not going to take heed to that voice. They are not going to hear. They are not even going to hear that voice. And they do not want to hear it. Right? Because they're rebellious. So from there, let me go in the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. Salakia, chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So that is what 2/3 basically saying. And the rebels, they do not want to walk in the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that is why they're gonna die. Right? They're gonna fucking die. You understand? So from there, let me go in the book of Ezekiel. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 20 and verse 19. Right? I am the Lord your God. Walk in my statutes and keep my judgments and do them. Right? So the Lord basically tell you to walk in his statutes and to keep his judgments and do them. But like the precept I bring up previously, what they say, we will not walk therein. They don't want to walk in the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They don't want to walk in his statutes and to keep his judgments and do them. They want to do the opposite. They want to do what the heathen doing. Right? So this is the book of from there, this is the book of Hosea, chapter 11, verse 1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him and called my son out of Egypt. The Lord called us out of Egypt and he showed us his ways, his laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? He raised us up to be a certain way, to represent him upon the face of the earth. Right? Because like the precept I bring out earlier on, Deuteronomy 32 and 5, where this spot come out from is like, I didn't teach you that. Right? I didn't raise you up to be like that. All right? This like I said, Deuteronomy 32 and 5. The spot is not the spot of his children. Right? Because the Lord raised Israel, he teach, he out of all the nations, he give Israel his laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? So the Lord is like, how you turn unto me as this degenerate plant and this strange vine? Because I didn't nurture you to be like this. Right? But the reason why it play out like that is because the scriptures say, the creature is subject unto vanity, and that, prophecy had to be fulfilled, that we can experience the curses and so on and so forth. Right? But the point is there. So that was just a little lesson I wanted us to do. I hope that edifying. Kalala Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash, the Banana City Elders and the Apostles are great millstone. Shalom to the elect.